welcome back. In my last video, I turned this little covered patio breezeway into a renter-friendly outdoor kitchen and a really functional garden workspace. And I have been loving it. It is a fantastic space to have people over, as well as somewhere to do all of my gardening activities. But as I've been using it, I've been realizing there are some little storage, organization, and layout things that I could change up just to make the space feel a little bit more finished. So today I'm bringing you guys along with me as I make some small edits to the space to just help this breezeway feel a little bit more functional and easy for me to use on a day-to-day basis. So let's get into it. So I mentioned when I made over my breezeway that I had all these extra bamboo stakes that I use in the garden beds, and I didn't really have a place for them. And I've been storing them in this white bucket next to the potting station that I created. So I thought I should create something custom to just store these in that looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So I picked up 8 pressure treated pieces of lumber from Home Depot. These are in their craft/DIY section. So they're pre-cut to being 4 feet long, and they're about $2.50 each. And I decided that most of my bamboo sticks were a little bit over 3 feet. So I thought I would make a box that was about 30 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and maybe 6 inches deep, as I don't really need a lot of space to store all these skinny poles. So I just used my nail gun to create 2 frames that just had 4 boards connected, and this serves as the left and right side of a box. And then I tried to get a general idea of maybe how I would want to slat some other boards on here to make more of a closed off box. And then I cut a little 6-inch piece for my side so that I could connect it temporarily to get a better idea of what I wanted to do for the bottom. So I went through my scrap wood stash and I found this piece of birch from the Breakfast Nook bench project that I used to test stains on. And so I just cut it down to fit perfectly on the very bottom. I'm not worried about how this part looks, as you won't see it. And this is an outdoor stick holding box, so I'm not super worried about the details. But when it comes to designing a box, it's completely up to you. And I wanted to try something different. I see most people just doing a simple stack like this. However, I thought it might be interesting to have like a little gap in between each one of the boards. So I'm just using some really great wood glue and my nail gun to keep everything in place. And the other side is actually going to be the exposed side, as I think it's just a different kind of look and I liked this idea. But I did want to add some level of cohesion with the potting table, so I found these extra trim pieces in my garage. I don't even know what this was from. And I just cut these down to go on the edges, which conveniently covers up the rough 6-inch pieces and gives it a little bit more of an intentional and refined look. And then I decided to just paint it the same color that I painted the pegboard and those drawers that I have, so that there would be some kind of cohesion between the 2 pieces, as I think the wood color really matches the top of the potting table. And then if you have been here since the beginning, then you would know that I flipped an IKEA dresser forever ago and I kept the little base of it because I knew I could use this scrap pine at some point, and I decided to add a little finishing touch of just creating a little piece of trim on top so that I could add more of this color to the box. So this matches really well, and I kind of like it on the side here so that it's out of the way, but still super accessible to the garden. Now I want to make some upgrades to the potting table here. So basically I've been storing all my soil and mulch in bigger bags of stuff behind the potting table, but instead of having to pick up the table and move it every time, I thought I would just reuse the casters from my old green garden cart. These actually ended up being the perfect size. They fit the leg exactly. And the leg is solid wood, so it's really easy to drill into. Now this huge piece of furniture is a lot more accessible. It's easier to move if I want to, and I can really utilize the back storage area. Okay, so moving on, I want to address the pegboard really quick. When I made this, I hung all of my tools with these little garden ties, which is kind of one of those little twisty things that's on a loaf of bread, and it really worked. It was super easy and very affordable. However, it doesn't exactly work for something like my gloves, and I think I could just elevate this a little bit more. So I did some searching and I found these 2-inch binder rings that you can use for like note card sets when you're studying or something, and they very easily open and close, and I thought this would be perfect because they're big enough to be slid over the peg while also hanging a tool. I really want my gloves here as I always lose them, and having to tie and untie and retie a little garden twisty thing is just a hassle, and this makes it so much easier. Plus, I think this looks a lot better. It looks really great, and it only cost me $5. Okay, so you know that I wanted to add labels to the little IKEA drawers on top of the potting table, and I wanted to find something a little bit different than what's on the black boxes. So I did some searching and I found these adhesive silver ones. I thought this was so much better than having to screw labels in just in case I want to change this in the future. And I really like just the simple silver look, and then you can just slide a little label in. So of course I got my little black label maker and some postcards, and I just cut out little labels that are the same size and slid those in there and just made labels that made sense for me. So I have 2 little drawers here that are empty still because I have room to grow, which is great, but this is mainly everything I'm using right now, and I do love the look of this. I think it's really nice. It all matches, and it really is still cohesive with the black boxes down here and with this, so I love this a lot. Okay, so moving on to organization of something very important for this Breezeway, which is my seed collection. My seeds have always been a total mess and not stored properly because they've never had like a real official home, and my collection has just blown up as I've gotten really into gardening, and I just don't know where to put all this stuff. So I got 2 of these containers from Michael's. I believe they're meant to store scrapbooking materials like little stickers and things like that, but they're the perfect size to store seed packets. And what's great about this is that if any of the seeds do fall out, because most of the time I'm opening up the packet and using like 10 seeds, not all 30 seeds, they'll all just like sit inside the box and they won't go anywhere, which is awesome. Plus they're gonna stay super fresh because they're locked tight in this box. So I picked up 2 of them. They each have 16 boxes in them, so I have 32 boxes to organize all of my veggies and flowers. Right now I've been stuffing these really big loose bags of seeds into this zipper plastic thing that I got at like a little 99-cent store. I also have some seeds in this box that Dalton made for us, and they're just kind of strewn out everywhere else. So I'm thinking these bigger bags of like wildflower seeds can just get stored in this zipper bag, and all of the packaged seeds can live in these little plastic boxes. I'm just organizing them by type, so I've got different types of daisies, zinnias, poppies, sweet peas, wildflowers, native flowers, cutting flowers, bushing flowers. You get what I mean. And I think that's what's going to make the most sense for me when I'm looking to plant something. I'm just gonna label everything with this little black label maker that I seem to love so much, so I know what's what, and oh my gosh, this is gonna save me so much time and energy when I wanna get out here and start planting. I also wanted to put some outdoor art here, so I found this cute little tile, and I also picked up a basket secondhand that I thought would be great for the garden. And I just wanted to add in some more secondhand picks. So I found this really pretty vase that I can keep out here full time to put like my wildflower cuttings in. I also have this cool ice bucket that's super old and I really like the vibe of it. So if we have a drink station, this can always be back here. I also found this really cool molcajete, I think it's called, at the local thrift store, and it's super nice. And this will be great for when I can like grind up my own seeds or spices with stuff from the garden. These are just really handy to have, and I think it's a great little styling piece on the shelf. And then I wanted some more permanent salt and pepper shakers out here, as the ones that were out here actually belong in the kitchen. So I'm gonna leave these out here as well. And then lastly, I just wanted to have a convenient tray out here for many different purposes, and I love the color of this one. I think it looks great out here. So in my past outdoor makeovers, I have used these stools as additional seating. We used them at this little table. We just had people over and put the stools around the table, and then the rest of the people sat on the bench and the two chairs. So they're really nice and versatile. They're really light to carry. They're originally from IKEA, and I don't even think that they were meant to be outdoor stools, but I've used them outdoors, and they're really still super sturdy. They do have some signs of wear and tear though, some worse than others. And I just thought that maybe I could use them to sit around this little table here if I wanted to have some extra people sit in this area, or someone could pull up a stool and help me planting seeds and potting and things like that. So I wanted to give these a fresh new look. So I gave these 3 or 4 coats just to make the color a lot more rich. And then I found this waterproofing stain and sealer. It's basically a tintable stain that weatherproofs anything that you put it on. You can get this for your outdoor furniture or decking, and it still shows some of the wood grain underneath instead of covering it up with just a full coat of paint. And because they had a color that was almost identical to the stool, I wanted to try it out and also use it to fill in some of the nicks and cracks on the rest of the stool. And I definitely plan on using it if I have any wood outdoor furniture that I want to paint, because I do like that wood grain. And just for some extra weatherproofing safety, I'm going to cover it in a layer of this oil-based polyurethane that's really great for wood products. Oftentimes, you really don't know what in a space is going to work or not work until you start living with it. And it's really those small little changes over time that make the biggest impact. So hopefully this inspires you to get inside one of your rooms or get out in your outdoor space and start making some changes to little areas. Maybe you're improving the look of something that looks basic, or starting an organization project on something as benign as seed packets, whatever it may be. You can definitely knock these projects out on the weekend or after school or even on a lunch break. And I promise you, these little non-dramatic changes will absolutely improve your life and make you love your space even more. I'll keep sharing any updates that I have on this space in future home updates or on my Instagram, so definitely go follow me there. But for now, I think this version feels right. There are definitely more makeovers on the way, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be alerted of when I upload next. And definitely like this video if you did, as it really does help support the channel. Other than that, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.